We can become our own worst enemy. We can stare at the mirror and hate who we have become, and fear what others might think of what we've become. We can also convince ourselves that we are without hope, or that things will only get worse. Need I go on? The mind is a powerful thing, and it can rule us and imprison us if we're not careful. In this tale, we see Matrix battling on this most dangerous of battlefields.
Glitch. Stats. It doesn't work.
Enzo.
I've told you not to call me Enzo. Call me... Mainframe?
But it can't be. We're inside a game. How can Mainframe be here?
I don't care. I'm home.
Number 7 was written by Dan DiDio, with story by Gavin Blair, Phil Mitchell, Dan DiDio, and Ian Pearson. The main cast includes Paul Dobson as Matrix, Sharon Alexander as Andrea, Ian James Corlett as Bob, Kathleen Barr as Dot, Tony J as Megabyte, Shirley Milner as Hexadecimal, Scott McNeil as Hack, Gary Chalk as Slash, Michael Donovan as Fawn, and Christopher Gray as Enzo. There's a lot to process already, not the least of which is the all-too-familiar cast list. The episode opens in a random system, as Frisket, Andrea, and Matrix are preparing to enter a GameCube, hoping that maybe this will be the one. Andrea does her best to be optimistic, but Matrix is despondent, convinced that their quest is hopeless, and feeling like he has no control over what happens. The cube drops and they find themselves on a golf green. Or do they? You saw the scene. They're in Mainframe. But how? It's not possible. They're still definitely inside a GameCube. Matrix has such hope in his voice as he tries to ramble out an explanation. But there is none. The trio look on sadly at this strange mirror of their home, until they hear the voices of Bob and Dot overhead. The duo are riding around on zipboards, chasing after Hack and Slash. Both are dressed as they were in the early episodes, and the scene is surreal, like our protagonists and the audience are getting a snippet of a classic episode. Eventually, Bob catches up to the lackeys and hits them back to the tour, using Glitch turned into a golf club. The duo falls into the top like balls in a hole. By the way, there are a lot of golf references in this story. That'll make sense at the end. Matrix and Andrea can't believe their eyes, and eventually, they reboot into Megabyte, Hexadecimal, and Scuzzy. Uh-oh. We have a scene in the principal office where Fawn, Dot, and Bob are discussing the viruses teaming up, and mention someone named Number 1. The pair spy on this conversation. Andrea speaks, but it's not quite her voice.
This feels weird.
Listen! Number 1 must be the objective of this game.
If it's a game. I thought it was, but now I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure about anything anymore.
If he's not sure, imagine how I feel.
Yeah, double. That goes double for me.
Yeah, well, what triple for
You
me?
bet. Well, I'm sensitive.
Will you two imbeciles be quiet?
Okay, boss, you
Sorry,
bet.
boss.
Be seeing ya.
Andrea, now back to her own voice, compliments Matrix's new voice, mentioning how powerful and commanding it is. Matrix is embarrassed, though. The idea of him being Megabyte is surreal and scary to him. Andrea seems to be relishing in it, though, as she continues to get stranger as the tale goes on. Strange is the name of the game, though. Andrea says that he has strength now. He's definitely not a little kid, which is a reference to Matrix being afraid he would reboot as little Enzo. Matrix says it's much worse. It's everything he hates. Andrea responds, is that everything you hate? Or everything you're afraid of becoming? And she slips back into Hex's voice at the end. Creepy. More on this later. For now, Matrix resolves to finding this Number 1 and ending this whatever it is. In the next scene, Bob, Dot, and Fawn are still in the principal office, and Megabyte, I mean Matrix, rides to the office and gets in, somehow, to speak with his former family.
Bob, we need to talk. Now!
No way, Megabyte. I don't know how you got in, but I'm showing you out.
Bob, if this was a game, I could end it. Right now. But I won't. I need you to trust me.
Why should we trust you, Megabyte?
No, not Megabyte. Sis, it's me. I'm Enzo.
As you might expect, this does not have the successful outcome Matrix was hoping for. Dot and Bob are most certainly not convinced, and Bob uses Glitch to blast him with some beam. Matrix practically snarls from the pain. And here, one of the most essential exchanges takes place. Dot says, "You're not my brother. He would never be so vicious." Matrix replies, "I've changed, but I'm still Enzo." If you're willing to dwell with me on this brief yet potent dialogue for a moment, you'll realize just how important it really is. Matrix is struggling with a fear that after all he's gone through to survive the changes, physically and mentally, he's made to endure the trip home, his family, especially his sister, might fear and reject what he has become. He's not talking about rebooting his Megabyte. He's talking about him, the adult Enzo he has grown into. I'm sure by now you might also have an idea what's happening. Bob manages to weaken him with Glitch, and Fawn decides to catalogue him. Cue a giant crane, and a wonderful speech from Matrix.
No! I will not be pushed, filed, stamped, briefed, debriefed, or numbered. My life is my own. You won't hold me!
In the next scene, we see Andrea sitting in front of a mirror in the tour, waving her hand in front of her and changing her mask over and over again. She mentions she's never been so in touch with her emotions. Just a little creepy. Again, I want to re-emphasize the fact that both Matrix and her slip back and forth between talking in their voice and the voice of the person they inhabit. This is such an interesting choice, and I'll circle back to why I think this was so important at the end. Matrix returns and tells her what we already know, that it didn't work. He's not surprised because, of course, when they looked at him, all they could see was Megabyte, and he did nothing truly convincing to prove otherwise. Andrea asks him what's so wrong with being Megabyte, and he looks at her like she's nuts, and says, "Everything is."
The strength, the control, the power. Isn't that everything you wanted?
Yeah, that is what I wanted. But not like this. And not at the expense of Bob and the others. I gotta make them see that I'm sincere. I have to prove that I'm Enzo.
Even if I have to delete them all to do it.
In the next scene, we're back with Fawn, Bob, and Dot in the principal office. And Fawn tells the duo that it's time to meet with this number 1. After Bob and Dot leave, there's a funny golf joke here, where a 9 numeral with a hunch serves him tea, and Fawn says, "How's your back, 9? I won't explain the joke. Also, he's getting served tea. Double whammy. Anyways, as Bob and Dot head to Dot's diner to meet this mysterious someone, Matrix, tails them, with Andrea riding behind him. Matrix states boldly that if this is a game, it ends now. Andrea goes full hexadecimal, laugh and all, which creeps Matrix the heck out. He rides his hoverbike at full speed towards the diner, and enters... not the diner. Matrix, still looking like Megabyte, enters a dark void of a place, as the eeriest musicscape begins.
Where is number 1?
Here comes the judge! Here comes the judge! Everybody knows that! Here comes the judge! Here comes the judge! Here comes the judge! Everybody knows that! Here comes the judge!
Silence in court! The prosecution will read the charges.
My lord, The defendant is charged with believing that the ends justify the means and of becoming everything he claims to hate.
Welcome to the third act of the narrative, as we shift from psychological action to full-on surrealist nightmare. The strange soundscape, the eerie jury, and the fact that Matrix is ultimately being condemned by his family and friends add up to create an off-putting and bizarre scenario. It's so jarring, switching back and forth between over-the-top silliness and completely serious moments. It's like a fever dream, where there aren't any clear or natural transitions. You just find yourself in whatever the dream is about. And I love it. This part completely enraptured me. Anyways, the jury finds him guilty and begins chanting this loudly. Matrix protests, asking for a defense. Bob smirks and summons Hack and Slash. And again, the tone shift is so fast it's jarring. The two nincompoops come up singing "Dem bones, dem dry bones." Then their whole defense is, "He's mean." Then they leave. But immediately, they go from that to the creepy chanting of "guilty, guilty, guilty." It doesn't give you enough time to laugh or gasp. Matrix again tries to say that he's Enzo, and Dot rushes forward to slap him around in anger. Enzo grabs her as she disintegrates. Bob and the jury start chanting again, and Matrix uses Megabyte's claws to slash at them. And they disintegrate too. Hexadecimal appears, or rather a huge hexadecimal mask appears, and asks, amongst other things, whether he's figured it out yet. Yes, episode, I have. But I'm still enjoying the ride. In frustration, Matrix cries out, asking, who is number one?
I am number one. I am the driving force in your life. I am hatred. I drive you on and consume you. No!
I am number one. I care for no one. That's not true. I love Andrea. No, you don't. You love yourself. Just looking out for number one. No! Not you.
I am number one.
Enzo, wearing his original outfit, claims that Matrix hates him, that he's abandoned and forgotten his family and become a slave of the games. Too afraid of what he has become to really want to return to mainframe. Matrix tries to rebut, but doesn't have much to say. Enzo then says something that I feel is the whole point. There can only be one. He tosses a golf ball at him, which grows to massive size and encapsulates him, which was a legitimately creepy image. And then, he wakes up. It was a dream. Matrix had gotten hit on the head during the golf game. But he's made an important decision.
You wait here while I finish this hole and win the game.
I'm tired of waiting for things to happen. And I'm tired of these stupid games. We've been living like viruses, infecting games and systems. This has to end. We're taking control. The search for mainframe and Bob begins now.
Welcome back.
I'm not usually a fan of "it was a dream," but here they use it to their advantage. All the jarring changes in scenery and character voices and the like are actually enhanced when you realize Matrix was dreaming it in a damaged mind. That's powerful. And speaking of power, this episode really does carry a great message. There can only be one. We decide what rules our mind and our thoughts. What will take priority? Fear? Hate? Jealousy? Or something nobler and more productive? Number 7 isn't just a great plot with amazing characters, which it could have been because ReBoot has amazing narrative prowess. It's a message and a warning. We want to be proud of who we become, not afraid. And ultimately, though other factors always play a part in that, we decide who that person in the mirror truly is. A psychological, surreal feast for the eyes and heart. I give this tale a perfect score of 3 fedoras. You'll never forget it.